Hey there, I'm Brandy.
And I'm Paige.
We're the hosts of this thing.
Spectacular Specimen.
Spectacular Specimens is a show where Paige and I take turns showing each other
And you.
some pretty amazing specimens.
In this case, a collection of dead animals.
Right. At Seattle's Burke Museum of Natural History and Culture.
We'll see what these specimens have to say about the living natural world.
I need to tell you about this mystery. It's 66 million years old, and it's been sitting in the rocks of Montana just waiting to be solved. The evidence is scattered across a hillside, and the scene itself has changed a lot since the alleged crime took place.
Oh, so it's not just a mystery. It's an ancient crime.
Yes. Meet our victim, Flyceratops by Roan, also known as Fly By.
Victim profile, Flyceratops by Roan, a vegetarian, elder male. The victim appears to have a couple of horns.
Excuse me?
Oh, important fact, Fly By is a Triceratops.
Site of death, Hell Creek, Montana. Time and cause of death, to be determined.
Insightful, delightful, let's learn about the life cycle, solving mysteries with the power of curiosity. Creatures give us clues, unearth and uncover, spiders, bats, fossils, and birds, one after another. Let's open the box, dare you to look in. Teeth, bones, wings, fur, spectacular specimens. Spectacular specimens. Spectacular specimens. So much to learn from our not so furry friends. Spectacular specimens.
A crime scene is unfolding in present-day Montana.
Is this your true crime podcast voice, Brandy?
Well, yes, I'm creating suspense and surprise with my raspy voice and an eerie mystique with my rustic folk music.
Okay, great. Bring on the meal delivery service and mattress subscription ads.
It all starts with a guy named Les Thomas, a local rancher near Hell Creek.
Here we go with your true crime voice.
So Les is up in his Piper airplane one morning, doing his routine cattle check.
As one does.
But then he sees something. An odd-shaped horn sticking out of the hillside. And this was not a cattle horn.
All right, enough of the voice.
Okay, Les knows his herd well, but he decides to check his gut. He gets closer. He flies by.
Clever. Okay, Flyby got his name because the pilot flies by him.
Yeah, that's right. Les looks over the hillside and sees our victim, this massive Triceratops, its bones scattered across the hillside.
Whoa, the ultimate jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, right? But these puzzle pieces are about to build a huge prehistoric picture that spreads across time.
So what happens next? What does Les do? Does he turn in the evidence to police or something?
No. Les calls up headquarters for this kind of investigation, the Burke Museum of Natural History and Culture in Seattle. He gets in touch with Kelsey Abrams. She's the fossil lab manager there. She calls herself a prehistoric crime scene technician.
I am the person collecting all the data at the scene of a crime. I'm looking for all the clues about what happened in that scene, and I have to find all of those clues, and I have to know how to interpret them.
Clues like the fingerprints, the DNA, or the blood splatter.
Ooh.
Anything you might find in a modern crime scene, but Kelsey's crime scene is 66 million years old.
Where to begin?
Kelsey gets these kinds of calls all the time.
Everyone in their backyard basically has a dinosaur in Montana.
Okay, not literally everyone. Don't just start digging up Montana.
Okay, I was gonna say.
But Montana is famous for its fossils.
Mm-hmm.
And Hell Creek is where some of the last giant dinosaurs roamed the earth. So fossils are out there, but the scene today makes it a lot harder to understand the crime scene of yesterday.
How so?
Put it this way, millions of years ago, Hell Creek was a totally different landscape. So traveling back in time here, it's the Cretaceous period. Theropods, or three-toed dinosaurs, like the Triceratops and the Tyrannosaurus rex, are all around the area. And there are no Rocky Mountains.
No Rocky Mountains?
Nope. Instead of those rugged mountains, we are smack in the middle of a steamy jungle, thick with lush plants and humid air.
I don't even recognize this Cretaceous version of Montana.
And that's not all. The dinosaur haven has tons of rivers twisting every which way through the landscape.
Pause the time machine. So, the rivers dried up? And the hillside they found Fly By in didn't even exist when he died?
Exactly. Millions of years ago, massive and intense forces pushed the Earth's crust up, turning Fly By's swampy home into the Rocky Mountain area we know today. And the rocks that tell us that mountains formed are the same ones that preserved Fly By's bones.
Wow, all of this from rocks? That is a lot of change. Kelsey's kind of got her work cut out for her.
Yeah, not only has the land changed, but a lot can happen to a dead dinosaur body over many centuries before it's even found by investigators.
Was it consumed by scavengers? Was it ripped apart by the wind? And then half of it fell in the lake.
In a lake?
Yeah, this is an important step in becoming a fossil.
Okay.
In order to become a fossil, Fly By had to fall into a lake, be covered by sediment, gooey mud, but also his body had to survive those winds and scavengers. Becoming a fossil is really rare.
Fly By's really beating the odds, huh? Perfect conditions to be a fossil and for being spotted from a plane. So, what happened to him? He was in a bunch of tiny pieces, and then what?
Okay, here's the thing about solving a dinosaur mystery. Everything doesn't get wrapped up in a nice, neat bow. Sometimes one question can become three. But hey, Kelsey's always certain about one thing.
When I approach a dinosaur site, it's a dead dinosaur. So it had to die some way.
But how did Fly By die? And did he die of natural causes? Or was he killed?
Could there be a potential suspect?
There's totally potential for suspects. There's potential for a lot to be embedded in those rocks.
What?
But before Kelsey tells us more, we are going to take a quick break.
Wow, a cliffhanger in a true crime story.
Take it up with the union. Dinosaur crime scene technicians need coffee breaks too, Paige. We'll be back. Welcome to Hell Creek. And it's called Hell Creek for a reason. The Montana sky is big and clear and blue, and that first summer of the dig, there wasn't a single hint of a cloud for shade.
I warn everybody, it's called a dig for a reason.
The team spent days digging during heat waves, and at night they were bitten by insects.
A lot of people think we can go just brush off the dinosaur with a brush and it just comes out of the rock beautiful. You have picks and jackhammers and rocks and shovels, and you're shoveling mountainsides of rock for days just to get to the bones.
So what did they find?
The dig team excavated a ton of Triceratops. No surprises there. Triceratops traveled in big groups.
They were like the cows of the Cretaceous, just massive herds of these animals, all sizes, all ages. Their heads can be over 8 feet from the tip of the nose to the back of the head. They have some of the biggest skulls of any land animal to ever exist.
I'm sorry, Brandy, did I hear that right? Their skulls can be 8 feet long? That's like 2 10-year-old kids stacked on top of each other long.
But the Triceratops was even bigger. They could weigh up to 26,000 pounds, and they kind of look like if you squished a humongous rhino and a gigantic lizard together.
These are the dinosaurs that walk on all 4 legs. They have 3 horns. They got the nose horn and 2 big long horns above their eyes. And then they have what we call a shield or a frill on the back of their head.
Their frill protected them from predators, but Triceratops were predators to plants. They were herbivores. They had a vegetarian diet. Triceratops ate things like whole pine trees, ferns, and hazelnuts.
Pine trees and hazelnuts? That sounds like dinosaur pesto.
Actually, it sounds kind of good. But Kelsey's not on the ground looking for dinosaur pasta recipes. She's trying to figure out how Flyby died.
Well, if it wasn't the pesto brandy, maybe it was something, a little meteor. You know, because of the whole extinction theory about dinosaurs being hit by a meteor, a small part of an asteroid.
Yeah, no, I get it. The asteroid and meteors. But actually, that may have just been the last straw. Scientists are considering multiple factors for the reasons dinosaurs went extinct. And so, in some cases, we might actually...
Wait, okay, you're taking the joke too seriously.
No, you're right. Anyway, Kelsey isn't looking into the mass extinction event either. She's here for Flyby.
I get to help figure out how did it die, who killed it, did it die of natural causes, etc.
And as far as she could tell, there were a few options on the table.
I knew it. Suspects incoming.
When we are looking at a site, we're looking at what was left in the scene. Are there fingerprints? Are there traces of another animals in that environment who might have interacted with that individual?
By year 4 of the dig, the team collected tons of scattered bones and amber. That's tree resin that can preserve organisms.
Nice.
And then things started to slow down.
We hadn't found any bone for days. We were thinking, okay, all that we found is all we're going to find. There's nothing more in this rock deposit.
And with nothing more at the scene, no obvious evidence of an incident, they start thinking maybe there is no culprit. Maybe this was an ordinary situation. Flyby could have been an older dinosaur that got sick, closed his eyes one day and took a final rest by a stream, dying peacefully in his sleep.
Oh.
But on one of the last days, Kelsey was chipping away at the rock with an awl, this pointed tool with a wood handle. It kind of looks like a screwdriver that's secretly a sword.
We're finishing up the Flyby site, and I'm casually taking down a bunch of rock, and I'm going fast because I'm thinking there's no more fossils in this site. Like, we got all the fossils.
And so Kelsey is hacking away and mudstone is just flying everywhere. And then she sees something. And it's not gray mudstone or beige bones. It's something black and shiny.
And I remember I gasped. I probably hit it and shattered it, and I didn't want to see.
Hit what? And shattered what?
What she found was definitely not mudstone.
I knew the second I saw that flash of shiny black that it was a T-Rex tooth. There's nothing else that could have been.
Oh my gosh, Kelsey found a T-Rex tooth at the scene of the crime?
A juvenile T-Rex tooth. A piece of evidence like this can really shake up an investigation. A T-Rex tooth at the scene of a crime could mean that
a T-Rex ate Flyby. Finally, some real evidence here.
But there's a problem.
Oh no, what's wrong now?
There was no glue in the world that was going to put that together.
Kelsey is worried that she just destroyed the evidence.
Not the tooth! Kelsey, no!
And I couldn't speak for, it felt like forever. Like I couldn't get my tongue glued off the roof of my mouth. When I finally moved my hand away, I was shaking like a leaf. I just started like sobbing. Like it was like a, you don't know how you're going to react until you do.
But the T-Rex tooth was not broken. And Kelsey did not shatter it.
Close one.
Kelsey carves out a chunk of rock surrounding the T-Rex tooth and locks it into evidence.
Hang on. So they find a T-Rex tooth at the scene? That has to mean something, right?
No, you hang on. Just because the T-Rex tooth is at the scene doesn't mean a T-Rex ate Flyby. And the tooth is still in the rock formation, so Kelsey is not done investigating yet. The museum's dig team had to bring each and every bit of evidence, Flyby's bones, all that amber,
And the tooth,
back to headquarters to figure out how any of the pieces of evidence fit together. That's coming up.
Hey, did you know this show's actually being made because of the people who support KUOW Public Radio? Yep, we love them. If you want to help out, go to kuow.org/spectacular. All right, we're back. Kelsey finds a T-Rex tooth right by the scene of the crime where Flyby died. Come on, this is the guy.
Hey, let's not draw conclusions too soon.
What?
There's a whole mess of evidence to sift through, Plus, Kelsey had to get Flyby and all the other evidence back to the lab in Seattle.
Wait, yeah. How do they get these enormous triceratops to the lab?
Do you check a bag?
Don't check a bag. Don't check a bag. Get a semi-truck, a lot of grad students, ratchet straps, cargo nets, 2x4s, some ranchers, some crying, some energy drinks, some sleepless nights. It's a lot of work to get a dinosaur to Seattle.
In 2 months' time, they get everything back to the lab, and that's where the whole fossil team begins to reconstruct the world around this one fossil, Flyby.
Every little sand grain is important in a site, and every little molecule of mineral can tell you about the world, about the changing of the world, about environments, about life and death and interaction.
Whoa, an entire prehistoric world. That must take forever to pull together.
They're not doing this alone. Kelsey's calling up geologists, people who study rocks, because rocks are like the witnesses.
Oh, sure, the rocks are witnesses?
Actually, yes. Rocks are great witnesses of time and temperature.
Oh, I'm into this.
Thanks to the formation and material of rocks, we can learn when a fossil formed or what prehistoric temperatures were like.
Whoa, little weatherman rocks telling us how hot or cold the temperature got for Flyby? Next, you're going to tell me the plants are witnesses too.
Well, the team does find lots of flowers and plants at the scene.
Oh, you're not kidding.
Yeah, they're also preserved in amber and help give further context. So Kelsey also calls up botanists, people who study plants, to learn about the seasons.
You know, if there were flowers blooming and you can find evidence of the pollen, you can tell, did that dinosaur die in spring?
Okay, that's cool. With all those witnesses, the rocks and the flowers, Kelsey's team could find out if Flyby fossilized on, I don't know, a cold day in the spring.
Exactly, and there are actually even more witnesses. Amber can preserve all kinds of organisms.
You know, the trees and the fish and the bugs that were in the environment, because they've also been deposited around that animal.
Flyby was surrounded by witnesses.
Yeah, Kelsey's team is able to study up on all the witnesses at Hell Creek and learn who all was there.
Well, obviously a T-Rex was there.
Okay, we'll get to that. But first, she had to get that tooth out of the rock, and it's a tiny juvenile T-Rex tooth.
Teeny tiny.
It's a delicate operation.
What is that?
Yeah, can you guess what sound it is, Paige?
Oh, a little game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe listeners can play along.
For sure. Let's play the sound again. All right, what did you hear?
Okay, I got it. This sounds like a tormented fly that's stuck inside a vacuum cleaner.
Get me out! It's not a guy.
Well, you're wrong. It's something else.
Oh, so not a tormented fly?
Nope, this is the sound of dental tools.
Okay, now it does kind of sound like my dentist's office, like tons of people getting their cavities filled or something.
Yes, back at the Burke, the fossil team is working with surgical precision to crack this case. They use dental tools to extract the evidence from the rock. Every chip, drill, and scrape reveals another piece of this Flyby puzzle.
So what you're telling me is the Burke Museum team is using dental tools to figure out a dinosaur crime. This is good. You can't make this stuff up.
And that's not even the end of it. When they found Flyby, he was just bits and pieces cascading down a hillside. He was nowhere near ready for display.
This whole piece of the frill came to us in gallon Ziploc baggies. Like big, huge bags. We spent 4 years getting all of this glued together and figuring out where everything went.
4 years? Sounds like a lot of glue.
It's really satisfying to glue a dinosaur together and puzzle it back together, and it'll shine up just fine.
But the thing about putting a dinosaur together, you might find a leg bone or a horn or a tooth, but you almost never find all of the pieces you need to put it together. Sometimes Kelsey will dig for years and won't find every piece.
Missing pieces to the ultimate jigsaw puzzle. I had not even thought about that. That's so frustrating.
What we got is what we got. They probably are lost to time.
So we have some parts of Flyby. What parts were missing?
I mean, our boy FB was looking pretty good, but unfortunately he was missing his nose.
What happened to Flyby's nose? You know? And we could come up with hypotheses and guesses all day. but we don't have any evidence to what happened to the nose.
And so the fossil team starts to come up with some ideas.
Like maybe it eroded out 20 years ago and we were too late, or maybe the T-Rex ate it.
Aha! The T-Rex had Flyby's nose for dinner. Case closed.
All right, Kelsey can't draw conclusions on first look. She has to examine the evidence. And while she's working on that, it's time for a T-Rex Triceratops Ultimate Mega Battle Fact Round Showdown.
What is going on, Brandy?
While the team examines that tooth evidence, I'm going to throw out some earth-shattering facts about the T-Rex. And in return, Paige, I want you to show up with some wicked facts about the Triceratops.
It's on.
The T-Rex was the king of the dinosaurs. It had the ultimate strength.
But Triceratops traveled in herds, strength in numbers.
T-Rexes had massive heads, sometimes 4 feet long.
Oh, yeah? Well, Triceratops' heads were even bigger. Sometimes they were 8 feet long.
Right. The T-Rex had an incredible sense of smell. It could find prey with a few sniffs.
Well, the Triceratops had 3 horns and a giant frill to protect its head.
The T-Rex had big old chompers that could slice through bone.
But the Triceratops had 800 teeth.
Wait, who told you they had 800 teeth?
Oh, I looked up cool Triceratops facts. Is that not allowed?
No, there are technically no rules. But wow, 800, that's a great fact.
Thank you. I thought it was kind of fun.
Speaking of teeth, let's get back to the tooth and Kelsey's investigation. Kelsey can't just use these cool facts to pin a suspect. She has to come up with questions for the evidence, then test it. Did this tooth leave a mark? Does this tooth fit into the hole in Flyby's face?
Of course, she has to prove it.
That's where Kelsey comes running over with the T-Rex tooth to shove through the hole and say, oh my gosh, did a T-Rex tooth go through the middle of this head? Well, Kelsey's wrong. This is not a T-Rex tooth hole.
As exciting as a T-Rex Triceratops Ultimate Mega Battle Showdown sounds, the hole in Flyby's face is just not a T-Rex tooth hole.
Wait. What? There goes our main suspect. So it's not a T-Rex tooth hole. What is it then? Why is Flyby's nose missing?
Like Kelsey said, sometimes a missing piece is just a missing piece. You know, a lot can happen to a dinosaur over many million years.
Yeah, okay. So where does that put us with Flyby's case? What happened to him? I feel like there's just no answer.
That's true crime for you.
Brandy, wait a minute. We don't know how Flyby died?
Nope.
But we have so much evidence. What about the amber and the temperatures and the rocks? Kelsey?
Everything we think about these animals is a hypothesis. We're looking at our evidence and we're coming up with our best guess or our hypothesis, and then we present it to the bigger community, and they give us feedback.
And that feedback could be, you're wrong. And that's part of science. You learn a lot along the way, but you may not find out everything, and everything you think you learn could also be wrong.
So that's really it. Kelsey and the Burke team spent all those years digging and dental tooling, and we still don't know what happened to Flyby? The real true crime's doing all that work and not getting any definitive answers.
No. The Burke scientists did get a lot of answers about dinosaurs and the prehistoric world, and I know you found out some cool stuff about Triceratops.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's really cool that they had 3 horns and 8 deconstructed pesto. But I just wish I knew what happened to Flyby, so I just don't get it.
No, I see you and I hear you. It's frustrating. What if we have a big think about why scientists do all that digging?
Big thing!
Why might scientists investigate a dinosaur crime scene if they don't find out how the dinosaur died? What's the point?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need a big break to think about it.
Fair enough. Let's take a break to think about it. And hey, have a big think on your own. Why in the world do scientists spend years digging up dinosaur fossils if they don't find out how the dinosaur died? We'll be back. Hey, have you downloaded your activity book yet? There's a link to get one in the show notes. Or you can text SPECTACULAR to 206-926-9955. 888-55. Okay, back to the big think. Okay, we're back. Remember the big think question. Why might scientists investigate a dinosaur crime scene if they don't find out how the dinosaur died? Paige, what are you thinking?
Okay, I've thought about it, and I think that even though we didn't learn how Flyby died, we learned a lot. And so maybe scientists are in it for the long game. You know, a game where winning's fun, but the best part is really playing. I mean, I didn't know that it was rare to be a fossil or that rocks and plants could tell time.
And Kelsey's team reconstructed an entire world. They basically time traveled to the past. But she did mention her work goes beyond that, to the future.
Okay, new facts. What do you mean?
So Kelsey and her team spent a ton of time reconstructing the past, right? And along the way, they find all these answers, like the temperature at the time, or what flowers bloomed and survived near dinosaurs.
Or that Montana was filled with swamps and is now mountainous.
Yeah. And those things might not always help scientists solve dinosaur deaths, but sometimes those fossils help solve issues greater than we could imagine.
And the big one would be climate change. We have evidence of climate change and how ecosystems and animals responded to that into the past. And so I can look at extinction events and what happened to animals when the temperature went up, and I can infer that to what's going to happen to us now.
Kelsey can use bones and amber and rocks to not only understand what the past was like, but she can use the past to understand our planet today, how it's changing, how it's warming.
Whoa, there are incredible answers. Climate change, time travel, dinosaurs, and solving mysteries. It's all mushed together. I get why this stuck with you. Investigating this one mystery is bigger than 50 flyby fossils. Wait, Brandy, what's your big think on this?
Well, I keep coming back to the importance of being wrong, or at least being open to being wrong. It must be really hard to work for so long and find out you've dug up the wrong answers. That openness to multiple points of view and multiple possibilities really means that every wrong piece of a puzzle you find actually helps you see a bigger picture across timelines.
You gotta love time travel and rocks. So the case remains open. We don't know how Flyby died, but we got a much bigger understanding about our planet and our lives, and even a peek at the larger-than-life world of Flyby.
R.I.P. big guy. We'll see you at the Burke. Okay, that'll do it for today. Thanks for thinking big with us, and of course, let us know what your big think was. There are all kinds of ways to get in touch in today's show notes. Big old shout out to our friends Eva, Viv, and Mac, some very cool and very smart kids that helped us make this episode. Spectacular Specimens was created by me, Brandy Fullwood,
And me, Paige Browning.
with KUOW Public Radio in Seattle in collaboration with the Burke Museum of Natural History and Culture, with fact-checking by April Craig. Emily Noakes made our theme music, and Eric Blood mixed the song. It's always stuck in my head.
Oh, same.
If you like our show and want to hear a whole lot more of it, please rate it and review it. It really helps.
Oh, and we have even more spectacular stuff waiting for you right now. An episode where we meet the cutest, toughest creature in the ocean, and an episode where a top secret workforce is cleaning up at the museum.
Talk soon.
Bug you later.